We are live. I don't know how many people's watching us. Let me see. Oh, that's right. There's a delay on YouTube.
Give me a 10-piece
We got
and a double cheeseburger and a large. No.
I don't know how many people's watching.
Pepper.
So you guys been out pre-fishing?
Dr. Pepper. What's that?
You guys out pre-fishing?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How did that go?
It was all right, but not exactly what we're wanting for Kentucky Lake. So
Which lake exactly are you on?
we're on Kentucky Barkley.
Oh, so it's actually Kentucky Lake. I got you. I thought maybe you're just referring to the state itself.
Nope.
As a leisure, I have to ask: when you guys got into Kentucky, did you lose some IQ?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I know that's rotten. That's rotten to say.
Mainly from the roads beating you to death.
Well, and out here where I live, that was a problem. They finally, a couple of years ago, paved North Shore out here, but it was, I swear, by the time I'd get anywhere, my brains were scrambled. But when they paved the road, all it did is make people go faster. Well, how did you get? Somehow. Somehow you left the stage, and I don't know how.
I don't know. There we go.
Well, I got you back, and I changed the video format. Well, I thought I did. Let's see. There we go. Equal screens.
Good
Now I've got it. So far, only one person has commented, but I don't know how many people we got watching. Only one person watching. That's awful. I tried to advertise the stream.
Yeah, I tried to share it on the way down here.
On Facebook or?
Yeah, I've had some horrible service today.
Well, that's friends when you get around the lake, right?
Yeah, I don't even think my last message went through to you on Messenger.
Oh, well, it may not have because I just had Facebook up.
Yeah.
The last thing with us is I sent you the link for trying to get you to share it on Facebook, actually. Hopefully get people. Oh, we got two watching now. That's good. Have you guys ever watched 351 Cleveland, his videos?
No, I haven't.
He's a crappie guy, too. He's watching. He's in the comment section.
I'll start to have yeah.
What's that?
I said I'll start doing it for sure. I love watching videos. Sometimes you run out of videos to watch. So it's always good to find a different channel.
Yeah, well, he's a fun one to watch. He does a lot of short videos. The last one he put out, I believe, was there was a massive storm over him, and it was thundering and making a lot of noise. And he said, it doesn't look good, boys, but then he reeled in a slab. While he was fretting about the storm, he reeled in a great big one.
I fished your lake a few weeks ago.
You fished Lemon?
Yep.
And you didn't contact me.
It was short
I was
notice.
probably out there at the same time.
Yep, it was short notice. That was for sure. I went with my uncle.
How did it go?
It was pretty good. We actually caught several 1.5 pound fish.
I'm jealous you're fishing my lake and finding them that size.
They're few and far between, but they're there.
I mean, the last time I went out yesterday, actually, and I caught several fish that were 9, 10 inches. Good cleaning fish, basically.
Yeah.
But no slabs this time. I absolutely could not find any slabs. And then I went down by the dam, and it was nothing but really small fish all around that area. Deep water, shallow water. Of course, a lot of bluegills up along the banks.
Yeah.
What surprised me, their crappie were slamming night crawlers, the big ones.
Really?
The better fish were slamming night crawlers, but not artificial stuff.
That's interesting.
It's the first time I've ever used night crawlers for crappie.
Yeah, I'd say.
The only reason I had any was because I took my granddaughter down bank fishing this past weekend. I took her down there for bluegill fishing. So I had some night crawlers left. and I might as well use them up before they dry out. But next time I go out, I think I'm going to buy more night crawlers, just see if it keeps up.
Yeah. I think with any presentation, and you put a bait in front of a crappie, if it's hungry, it's going to eat.
Well, that's kind of my philosophy too. I'm not one that switches baits a lot. I mean, if they're hitting a certain way, but I'm not getting to be aggressive, then I might change it up. But I'm like you, if they're hungry, they'll hit it.
Yeah.
But the way they were going for these night crawlers made me think that the better fish were wanting a bigger profile, because I was putting on pretty good size, pieces of night crawler.
Yeah. What we're running into down here is we're catching a lot of 14-inch fish, and they only weigh a pound.
14-inch, man, those are some skinny ones then.
Mm-hmm.
14-inch, you would think you'd be getting into some 1 1/4, 1.5 fish.
Yep. And they're just super, super skinny. So
I did have questions for you guys. Okay. I think I want to start with both of you. Each of you give me your opinion. What is your go-to lure to start out?
Mine's always a crappie magnet. Different colors vary on presentation. And normally it's a 16th ounce eye hole jig. And I don't know if we talked about it last time, and the eye hole jig for me isn't really for the scent, but the way the eye hole jig set up, it's a bigger profile for the lighter weight because the hole is missing out of the lead in the center. So for me, I kind of like that because it falls slower than what a bigger profile bait like that would. And because it's any original crappie magnet based on what lake and color I'm throwing. So
what about Patrick?
He's at getting us some food.
Okay.
But I can tell you what he'll throw. He'll start throwing a 16th ounce jig, just a regular non-painted jig for the most part, and then he'll always put on a Fat Guy's fishing lure. And if he's fishing like Monroe, he uses the Freak, which is a big 3-inch profile minnow shad looking bait, and he likes it in the color white. And then if we're fishing a lake where we're casting a lot, he'll throw on I believe it's called the Fat Guy's Fishing Little Dinger, and it's a little bitty teardrop looking bait with a tiny little tail.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to look it up. The only 3-inch lures I've ever used was the Berkeley Gulps. So if I go with 3-inch bait, it's almost always going to be that chartreuse. But I get tired of spending the money on those. They're so soft, bluegill, warmouth, stuff like that. They just chomp them in half.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you, I'm a crappie magnet guy.
Yeah. It's hard to beat. I mean, I'm black and chartreuse on this lake. Anybody that's watching that's fishing this tournament, I've heard guys having a horrible time trying to get fish to bite. These fish are running it down. I mean,
I love the black and chartreuse. The split tails, is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the black and chartreuse. I love the glow pop. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. Yeah. And then I just got them back in, but the pink and chartreuse split tails too.
Yeah.
About 99% of the time, I got chartreuse somewhere on that jig, on that body, somewhere.
Yeah.
The only marabou jig I use actually has a chartreuse tail on it. Crappie, for some reason, that chartreuse, the combination lights them up. So, of course, we're fishing different. You guys are going for tournament winners. I'm just fishing for what I can find.
Yeah.
So, I'm not making choices about the size of fish. It's like seeing a pile, and normally I'll see a pile of fish and I'll try to look to the outside of them, look for the bigger crappie, because the bigger crappie don't normally get in the middle of the mess.
Nope, you're right.
They like to be either, now if they're in a column, if they're running deep in the water column, I usually find a bigger crappie on the bottom of that column. Mm-hmm. And in shallow water, I find them kind of on the outskirts of the school. I don't know if that's everybody's experience, but that's mine.
Yep, I would have to agree.
So, another question for you is like what's your? I know a lot of it goes instinct and what's working, what's not, but in different conditions, say like you got a cloudy day and muddy water, I mean, what do you like to start with?
Well, for that bait wise, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in muddy water, I like a darker bait.
I
Um,
agree.
I know some guys will throw a bright orange, or even more like orange and chartreuse sometimes. But for me, and a lot dirty water is a darker bait.
That's when
And
I go with the black and chartreuse.
yeah, and then I know here recently that's why a lot of guys have been switching to the white baits in muddy water. And I'll just ask you this question, which will answer it for you, I think. But what color are those crappie when you pull them out of muddy water?
I don't pay attention.
Yeah, they're
Are
real
they
pale.
darker? They're pale.
Nope,
Okay.
they're real
Yeah, the
pale. They're
deeper
really
water they get
white.
darker, right?
Yep, yep, they're really pale and they're really white. So why wouldn't the shad and the bait fish that they're chasing around be in that color as well? And so that, I mean, that's what Pat goes to when we fish a lot of muddy water. Pat will go to a white bait, and
Yeah,
it's got.
I go that dark. I believe they chase that shadow. That's my experience. But I'll tell you what. I'm going to post real quick. I'll post a link in the comments because it just dawned on me. I seen a guy once do a comparison between different watercolors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you ever watch the Bass Factory?
I not recently. I have in the past.
It's been. I don't watch him as much anymore. I just got way too many different people to watch now. But he did a comparison between watercolors and what the bait looks like in them, and it was really interesting. I don't even know how to look it up for. I'm not going to find it right now. But basically, he took glass jars, and he put water in them from different colors and different darkness of muddy water.
Mm-hmm.
He was dropping these lures down in there to show what they look like. And like the lighter color lures, you couldn't see them at all in the darker muddy water. But it was the dark colors that showed up. It was really surprising. I always liked these darker colors, darker water.
Yeah.
I've never seen it done like that. And I was like, it makes sense to me now because the darker colors showed up in that muddy water way better than like the white the white, anything yellows, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could find a video right now, but it takes me a while to find it, and I don't want to. But I will find it and I'll post it. It was interesting. So you guys, what's your tournament tomorrow on Saturday?
Yeah, the tournament's Saturday, just Saturday.
Oh, just Saturday. Okay. Is Patrick back in the vehicle yet?
Nope, he is not yet.
He's ordering big sandwiches then.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to get into some, well, we can talk to him when he gets out too. But other than pre-fishing, how do you prepare for a tournament?
Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff.
That's what I've got going here.
Yeah, it's a lot of research online, depending on what lake you're going to go fish, and uh, Google Earth can be your best friend. And based on like this year, we've had a lot of tournaments where they've gotten canceled because the water's up so high, right? But when water's low, you can find places where you can utilize ditches and depressions and stump rows and stuff
So
that
you're taking advantage of satellites then.
yeah, absolutely. And we're not the only ones. Every really good team out there has done Google Earth at some point, looking in past history of what it's going to take for weights. That's why it's awesome to have all the history and stuff online these days, is because it makes it really easy, or not really easy, but it makes it easier than what it was before. Because before it was just word of mouth, or you found a crappie fishing magazine, right? And
Right.
people talk about it. Now it's all over the place. You got individual lakes, like Lake Lemon page, you got Lake Monroe page, Lake Patoka page, right? I mean, all of those places where people are posting, and YouTube's a big thing too. You go to YouTube and you start watching where people are fishing, and you can find those spots to go and try to find fish.
Doing that to my spots.
Yeah, that's why people were getting mad because I was doing fishing videos out there.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, Lake Lemon it's such a wide open lake. I'm like, there's really no secrets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big enough lake, but it's wide open enough that it's not hard for people to find out where to fish.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested in looking at it on the satellite, Google Earth. I want to kind of see what that looks like.
Yeah, so I remember when we went down to Grenada Lake for the first time, we used Google Earth, like our friend, to find some places to go find fish where we thought they would be. So
it kind of helps eliminate the home lake advantage just a little bit for people.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't totally erase it, but it does take some of that edge.
Yeah. And then just trying to figure out, yeah, it's all right. Where these fish are going to be setting up. So you're looking at your maps, and not one map is the same. There's going to be spots on a Garmin map that's going to be more beneficial, and there's going to be spots on a Humminbird map that are more beneficial. So using all of them, it can be a big help.
I just noticed here that 351 Cleveland said that pink jigs and stained to dirty water works where he's at.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It's Ohio. And I'm going to agree with that too, especially if it's got that kind of neon pink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with him on that too. So I just wanted to point out he had mentioned that he's the only one commenting right now. Like I said, I was hoping for a bigger turnout, but I don't know. I guess people can watch it later.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm still trying to get people to visit my website, and that's not happening much either.
Is it not?
No, it's all the different settings to get a website recognized. It'll take it about 6 weeks before it really starts getting recommended in the Google algorithm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, anymore, if you want views, you got to start out kind of paying for them. But Google wants like, between $2 and $4 per click. And I'm like, so you mean 100 visitors might cost me $200 to $400? No, I'll pass.
Wow.
I mean, it's just everybody wants to be viral, and these places are finding out they can charge them for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years now. My YouTube channel's not monetized. The watch hours just don't fall into place. And I mean, there's a lot of different fishing channels if you want to watch them. I mean, I bet you I've got 100 channels that I'm subscribed to support the fishing community. I only have time to watch like maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't sit here day in and day out just watching YouTube videos. I will for the people that I'm friends with and have been supportive of me. I'll turn on their videos even if I'm busy or if I have to go to the grocery store or if I'm not fishing. I'll leave them at home just so they get the watch hours at least.
Yeah.
So we already know what Pat's favorite jigs are to start with and what to use in. So wait a minute, Cleve, you tell me that this isn't. I don't know if I can change that in StreamYard. You just tell me to change my category, but I don't know if StreamYard gives me the choice.
Gotcha.
YouTube might. I'll check that real quick because that won't interfere with anything. But let's see. I'm just taking a second to look it up because he's probably got a point. I got it set to on YouTube entertainment. Okay, well we'll try it. You're right. I've got it set to how to. I'll change it to entertainment. See if that helps. So let's talk about these past two. Did you guys win your last two tournaments? Is that right?
Yes.
So I don't pay attention much to results. I wish I had more access to it, but how often do you guys win tournaments together?
Say that again.
I said I don't really have access to all the tournament results, but how often do you guys win tournaments?
Well, last year's Flat Masters we won one, but we were consistent all year long, and we won the points championships in
Oh wow!
Indiana. So we did that last year, and then we've won both of the crappie tournaments on Carlisle Lake this year, which is over in Illinois. So we won the NCL event, and then we also won the crappie fishing series, which was formerly Crappie USA. So
So you guys are kind of big time then.
we're trying to be.
You know,
So,
I was looking on Facebook yesterday maybe, and I said my friend James, like Raunchy James, he gets very political on Facebook, and I seen where Patrick got into some conversation with politics, and I called James. I was like, man, don't make him mad. He's supposed to be on my live stream. I don't want him getting on there all mad at the world. They're on that. I think opposite side a little bit. Patrick might be more measured than James is.
Yeah,
James is pretty wound
I think
up
there's just. Yeah, I hope we don't lose you trying to go up and down these hills in Kentucky, but we're trying to shed just more of a positive light on the industry, right? Because
right.
You know, in tournament fishing.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. I think we lost him for a minute. We'll see about getting him back. He's all froze up. Oh, Scotty made it in. How's Scotty doing tonight? Because right now I'm solo for a minute. Got him on their ride back from the lake, so I don't know. We'll wait for it. I'll see if they come back in. Well, it didn't catch him in a good moment when it froze, did it? Well, man, life's always better, Scotty, when you're not working. Yeah, my brother just hit me up and said, play one of your songs. Well, I guess I could. But I think you're limited on what you can put in there. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think, okay, he's ready to add back to stage. There we go.
There we go. We're back. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah, lost you for a few minutes.
Yeah, so.
I can hear you.
All right, so there's a lot of negativity and stuff, and all throughout tournament stuff, bass, crappie, everything, right? And so,
yeah,
what me and Pat have really wanted to do this year is just shed light of how fun it can be. We're not gonna make a living chasing tournament crappie series. We're not. Everybody that has chased tournament series crappie fishing knows you're not going to make a living at doing it. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm listening.
Yeah. So we just want to be a positive influence. That's really what we have fun. We joke, we crack up on the boat. None of us get mad at each other, and we go out and have a great time. And even when my son fishes with us, we have a great time doing these tournaments, and it's just fun. It's an outlet to go blow off some steam, and so we're just trying to shed that positive light and spread the good word about crappie fishing, and hopefully someone else gets as addicted to it as we are. So
it's not difficult. Once you start getting into them, it's got to pull to it.
Yeah.
And I think you got to have fun with it, because from everything I've seen of tournament fishing, I've never done it, but it's a lot of commitment. So if you're going to commit to it, you better have people fishing with you that you can get along with.
Mm-hmm.
You get along well before somebody gets pushed off the boat.
Yeah.
You're breaking up on us
So,
again.
yeah, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, we've won. We're on a pretty good run right now. I think if you look at point standing, we're first in National Crappie League, and then for Crappie Fishing Series, we're sitting second. So we're pretty excited about that, and there's some good guys out there fishing these series, and
Oh no, must be in another valley or something. How many people are watching? 5 people. Oh, I believe he's back. Are you there?
yep, yep.
Yeah,
I
we
think
lost
so.
you for a minute. Yeah, honestly, going off what you were saying before you cut out, the nicest people I have met on the lake are almost always crappie fishermen. I mean, I meet a lot of real friendly crappie fishermen. I can't say the same about bass fishermen. I ain't saying it's true. I can't say the same thing about recreational people either. But I've never ever met a crappie fisherman on the lake who wasn't absolutely friendly. There's your Kentucky network where he throws again.
Oh, it's
Back.
awful.
All right, you're back. I don't know what all you heard. But I guess I'll wait for him to come back. Or I'll type in my website in the comment. Maybe somebody will go visit it. Think you're back?
There we are.
There
You
you
should
are.
be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Must be going
Yeah,
down
I
the
heard
hill.
everything you said. What's that?
Yeah, I stopped when you finished. I said I stopped talking when you finished. I was like, I don't know when they'll be back.
Yeah. We're actually getting ready to go over
So,
Kentucky Lake right
I know you're a B&M guy. What does Patrick Puck use in terms of rods? Well, there
now.
it
Say
is.
that again.
I said I know you're a B&M guy. What does Patrick
Yeah,
Puck use in terms
there's
of rods?
beautiful. Yeah, what rod do you like?
Yeah, I don't know what he said. I heard you ask him.
Yeah, he said the B&M Godwin rod. He loves that rod. It's
The
got a lot
Godwin
of
rod.
backbone in the
Godwin
tip
off
of
of
it.
Duck Dynasty?
No, he has his own B&M rod.
Okay. I don't think I quite heard you right. What do you have?
He has his B&M rod.
Yeah, your connection's frozen again. There you are. Maybe. Okay, there you are. What rod?
Yeah. Godwin has a Godwin series B&M rod. It's a casting rod.
You're talking about Godwin off of Duck Dynasty?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that guy's one of the funniest people I've ever seen on a reality show.
Yeah.
I'll never
He's
forget when
hilarious.
they made him cross the road pretending to be a puma. Oh no. Gone again. Just we'll wait for them to show back up. Hey, you guys, as long as they're, we're waiting for them to come back. If you guys have any questions for them about crappie fishing or tournaments, put there in the comments, and I'll make sure if they can't read it, I'll make, because they're driving, I'll make sure they hear the question. Keep in mind that that Bobby McWhorter is also an electronics guy, the fishing electronics. He does that as a side business. So he knows a lot about electronics. Just hoping they show back up. I will be putting a new video together. When I was out last time doing my live stream, I also, took a video with GoPro, and I had a pretty decent start to that trip. Well, other than the fact that my motor was overheating, I couldn't figure out why. But once I got out on the fish, the first hour, I pulled in some really decent crappie. And then I wanted to go see what it was doing down by the dam at this lake, and it was nothing but dinks. But the first hour, I caught some good, healthy crappie. No slabs, but the kind that you'd love to take home and clean. And I'll have that video out in a couple of days. Or you could spend the 2.5 hours watching it, the live stream. But you know how live streams are when you're fishing. There's a lot of nothing happening between catches. So when I edit it down, it'll be just catching the fish. And I'll see them showing back up on the guest list. Hopefully they get a chance to log back into it. And I don't know. I mean, who else is here? I mean, I know we got 351. We got Scotty with Fun Fishing Adventures. These are both channels anybody else watching should probably check out. They're fun channels to watch. In Cleveland, there, 351 Cleveland, I still think, Cleveland, you can confirm this for me, but I think you were my very first subscriber like 3 or 4 years ago. Unless it was myself, but other than myself, you might have been the first sub that I had. Come on. That's a good question, Scotty. When they get back on here, I'll ask them. We addressed it. I had Bobby on here once before, and we kind of covered that a little bit, but that live stream, he had trouble getting logged in, so it was kind of broken up. But he definitely had a good, insightful answer. Hey, James. Raunchy James is now in the chat. I could play his song. Yeah, James, those guys lost commission. Not commissions. They lost.
Run over the 2x4.
I think I added them back. Are you there? Are you there, Bobby? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, your connection there is worse than it was on the road. You're moving.
Are you there?
I am here.
Straight.
So, Fun Fishing Adventures, and you and I covered this last time you were on, but we can cover it again. Want to know how you guys feel that the forward-facing sonar has hurt the bigger crappie population due to personal fishing for tournament?
That's the biggest question, right?
It is a big question with a lot of controversy around it right now.
Yeah. I think, in my own personal opinion, and I'll swap with Pat here in a minute on it, but I think those fish are just going to different places and hiding away from the pressure. And I don't know if you watch the Crappie Connection. Do you do that?
No, I don't. I didn't know something like that existed.
I did a pod. Yep. There's a podcast called the Crappie Connection, and it's on YouTube too. And we talked pretty much the amount about fish and what tournament anglers do sometimes to catch those pressured fish. So,
Well, certainly,
there's all kinds of different techniques
smart.
that we do.
Fish aren't very smart, but they do learn through patterns.
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to back the boat right in here.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on the forward-facing sonar is I haven't felt like it's hurt the population. It's changed the way the fish behave. But if anything, I think it gets a lot of fish thrown back because people aren't desperate to keep the smaller fish because they know they can go find bigger fish.
Yep. Yeah, that's some truth. Absolutely, it is. And I think if a lot of guys would think about harvesting some smaller fish, maybe our fisheries might turn into big fish fisheries.
Yeah, I kind of preach that a lot in my fishing videos too. That hey, I know this lake well enough. I tell people go ahead and take those 8.5 or 9-inch fish if they're thick. We need them thinned out.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. There are way too many of them. And I talked to a biologist in Indiana late last year, and we talked about that. There's a lot of fish I believe over need to. Did you hear me?
Barely. You were kind of breaking up.
So I talked my back on
Yeah, we've not been able to hear any full sentences for a minute. You're just coming in and you're breaking in and out.
Yeah, no, it stinks. I have service. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah, you're better now.
Okay.
What do you been think about that? Well, now you're gone. Yeah, 351. That's a good point. The females lay a bunch of eggs. And crappie also grow pretty quick. I think we're getting back here. Are you back, Bobby? Are you there? And I can hear your footsteps.
Did you talk to this old boy last night?
Looks like you're back.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm looking for it. Can you hear me here?
I can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll just sit right here.
Okay. So, Scotty, again, Fun Fishing Adventures, wanted to know what you think. What do you think of forward-facing sonar in tournaments, and should it be allowed for crappie, bass, or catfish?
I think it should be allowed. And the reason why I think is it's just another tool that people can utilize in the aspect of things. If you go back and look in history, I think when 2D sonar first come out, I think we talked about this the last time. It was the same concept. Fish got scared away from that for a while, and then they ended up getting used to it. So for forward-facing sonar, yeah, I think it should be allowed because it's just another tool like a brand new jig or a brand new bait is.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure people were throwing fits back when other types of fish finders were invented. You know, the flashers, people were probably going, that's not fair. But also, I mean, fish adjust to their environment. And this is another adjustment. And sometimes, you know, as an angler, you just have to adjust too. It's that way with any kind of hunting. If your game changes their patterns, you have to make a change. Well, I don't know what happened. The only thing I'll say, Scotty, about the forward-facing sonar in tournaments is I get the feeling that it does price some people out of being able to compete because the new equipment is so expensive. And I don't know how some of these people keep up with the cost of competing. I mean, like, I don't feel like it's hurt the fishery, but
Do you have better signal?
I do think some of them have been priced out. You're there?
I sent you the link. Trying to get some internet.
Yeah, we can hear you for the moment.
Is that what it is?
Should I send him the invite on Facebook? Well, I guess I will. I just jump to Facebook real quick and send him this invite. I can find him. Let's see. Of course, I have to figure out the app and how to get in there. And to my brother Steve, if you're watching this, the only way I can see people if they're watching is if they're making comments in the comment section. That's the only way I can see. He sent me a text, asked me if I could see him, and I don't think he does much watching live stream, so this is a new thing for him. Yeah, back to 351. Absolutely. The amount of eggs they lay, you're not going to fish out any lake, river, anything like that with any special type of equipment, unless you're getting on a small lake with, you know, big fishing nets, then you might manage it. But yeah, you're not going to fish them out just by normal fishing equipment between the fish finders and, you know, even people. If you had everybody out there running spider rigs, I mean, 4 or 5 rods of bow, you're not going to fish them out. The problem is the fishery in different lakes go through cycles. And when you get into a cycle where the bigger fish have died, just a lot of them die because they get old. You just wind up in a cycle where you have 1 or 2 years of small fish and then it starts to recover. But during those off-cycle years, the anglers will always find, you know, something to complain about with the fishery, wanting to blame something besides the fact that, you know, they want to blame something besides the fact that, hey, this is the way it goes. In other words, they don't want to make it seem like the fishermen is that themselves are the problem. They want to blame other stuff, but, you know, realistically, most of the time, man, it's just the way nature works. Yeah, Scotty. Yep. And those small fish, they stunt the growth. They absolutely stunt the growth in the lake. Go ahead, Patrick, here and see if he's got a better connection.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one, man.
There you go.
Be safe out there.
All right, say it one more time. The neighbor was talking to us.
Yeah. Hey, you're here. I can hear you. We were still talking about live scope and the effects.
I got to get some more volume on you. I'm sorry.
What's that?
There you go.
Get some more volume on you. I can barely hear you. I got you now, though.
All right. Yeah, we were still talking about forward-facing sonar and whether or not it has an impact on the fisheries.
Well, I think it has an impact on the fisheries, but it's not the impact that it's taking fish out of it. It's just the fish that it's changing them. Used to be the fish were out in open water, nobody messed with them. But you got guys forward-facing sonar, and they're able to go out there and find those fish and catch them. So they learned, and they're going to different areas.
Right. The fish learn from patterns, and fishermen just need to make the adjustment with them.
Yeah.
And it's not like the fish are getting smarter, but they do learn through patterns.
They
patterns change. I mean, if you're prey, you eventually learn what the hunter's doing.
Yeah. Well, it's just like you. If you was in your living room and somebody dropped the ham sandwich down through the ceiling and you grabbed it and they yanked you up through the roof a couple times, you probably ain't going to eat no more ham sandwiches.
Oh, at least not ones that drop through the roof. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, if someone stuck one in the fridge while I wasn't looking, I might grab it, and then I get caught again. That's a good example. But I think, too, a lot of people, like what I was saying was when the fishery changes, because, every body of water has their off-cycle years. When that happens, people want to look for anything to blame besides themselves. But what they don't realize is it's just nature taking its course.
It is. And I think with crappie, it's about every 7 years you'll see a down cycle.
Now,
and then they come back up. 7 years. 7 years.
I mean, that's at our lake right now. That here at Lemon, I think that's what's happening. Is we've had a couple of really off years, and this year's looked a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know the hydraulic dredging project they had going for a couple of years. I don't know how much that affected it. I have read that it can affect the fishery, but I don't know how much it affected this one.
Well, it's definitely going to change where they go because they got a bunch of new habitat.
Well, where they dredge, that water down there is still only like 3 or 4 feet deep.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's any. I mean, I've tried to look around and I'm not seeing a lot of structure, but it takes that sediment when they're dredging. There ends up being so much suspended sediment that it just takes a while for things to return.
Right.
Any semblance of normalcy. But you guys been out on Lemon. It's a very shallow lake.
Yes.
Scotty, yeah, Fun Fishing Adventures here commented that their conservation department wants them to take every small fish they can up to the daily limit. I know there's lakes like that. There's bodies of water that absolutely that needs to be done because the growth's getting stunted.
And getting AC.
You got all those small fish competing with the big fish for the food source.
I'm going to attempt to walk in here in the house and get out of the rain and this hot weather. We'll see if my phone keeps working.
Yeah, you look a little red in the face there.
There we go.
Looks like you got some sun.
Oh, yeah. Sun and more sun today.
Yeah. So how do you feel about the tournament for tomorrow? You feel like you got, what day? Tournament's just tomorrow?
No, it's Saturday. So we still got tomorrow to look around. We found a couple areas, but I don't know. I'm hoping we find more tomorrow. If not, we can go catch fish. I don't know if they'll be the right ones.
Yeah, because last thing you want to do is get there Saturday and find out other people knew about those spots too.
Yeah. Well,
you got to have some backup.
Forward-facing sonars kind of changed that a little bit. You don't so much have a brush pile as you do an area.
Well, yeah, because you're going to troll around a lot.
Yeah. There we go.
What do you guys got, an Airbnb there or something?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Well, that beats a hotel.
Well, it does, and it's fun. You get somebody to share it with you, another team, and split up the cost. And
there you go.
Just a little bit cheaper than a hotel. Not always,
You know,
but
I figured out why people in Kentucky and Tennessee have that thick hillbilly accent.
what is that?
All those years down those mountains yelling from one across the other, and I think the echoes just changed the way they heard, and then it changed the way they talked.
It may have. You may be right.
I say that. I fished Watts Bar a few times, and I really liked the people I met there.
Yeah.
And some of them boys make some pretty good moonshine too, although I don't really drink, but I did try it.
That sounds like an experience to me.
It was. It's pretty unique.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I don't know that I felt like it was really clean liquor, but it tasted okay.
Yeah. And you know something you said there, that Southern hospitality, there is something to be said for that. I've seen it my whole life, and it's you know, be going down the road, people are waving at you and being friendly, and
There is people, Patrick, I met out on Watts Bar one time, the first time, and every time after that I saw them, they treated me like family.
yeah.
And it really was it is a unique experience when you get into that.
Or you go in a restaurant, and I've done it all over the country in the South, where you go in a restaurant, small little restaurant, and the owner just come down, sit at the table, and start talking to you.
Yep. And you're paying them for it.
Yeah,
But a lot of times it's hard to beat the food too.
it is.
They actually cook it like they would at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about baits, and we've talked about what color use them in different colors and stuff. But my question is, how do you decide when to move to a larger or smaller profile lure?
Well, you let the fish tell you. If you
Okay,
got fish,
I know that. But at what point do you make that decision? If they're not
Well,
biting?
yeah. Well, if you got fish that are nipping the tail, I'm probably going to go smaller. Get that
Okay.
hook closer to their mouth. If I got fish that aren't paying attention to it, I'm probably going to go smaller. Unless it's muddy water. I think in muddy water, I like a bigger bait because it's easier for the fish to see.
That makes sense. Yeah, Bobby and I were talking about the dark lures versus the lighter color lures in dark water, and I like the darker lures. He said you'll go with lighter.
Well, and I got a reason for that. I use like white a lot in muddy water. If you catch a fish out of muddy water, what do they look like?
Well, that's what he was saying too. They're light. They're lighter color.
I feel like it's more natural, and I feel like they see it, and I will use a bigger bait. I mean, if I get in really muddy water, I may use a 3-inch bait.
I'll try that in muddy water. I've never really adjusted the size of the bait for the watercolor, but I will give that a try. It makes sense. You're right. The bigger the lure, the easier they'll see it.
Yeah.
But it's not like they decide they're not hungry because the water is color.
And I got a buddy, his name's Roger Claywell. He owns a company called Fat Guys Fishing. And he's got this bait called the Freak. And it looks like a shad. I wish I had one in here, I'd show you, but it just looks like a shad. I think it's kind of molded from a live shad. But it's a 3-inch bait. Well, I think it's 2.8 inches, I think is what it is. But it's a big bait. It looks like it's too big to fish for crappie, but I catch all kinds of fish on it. Big or small, doesn't matter. And you think about it.
Crappie have big mouths, so
They do. But and you think about it in the wintertime, there ain't no 1-inch shad in the lake. They're all 2-3 inches because they were born in the spring and they grow up all summer. And now, right now, you got little bitty
I said
shad.
a little too generic.
Yeah.
I kind of use the same size year round, but I need to fool around with the bait size a little bit more. I mean, I was telling Patrick when I went out yesterday, the good crappie were killing night crawlers.
Really?
Yeah, and I've really never fished crappie with night crawlers. I just had some left over from bluegill fishing with my granddaughter. And I decided to throw them on there just to use them. They were killing it. And then when I ran out of night crawlers, all I was catching were small ones.
Yeah.
So next time I go out, I'm going to buy some night crawlers and test it again.
I don't think I've ever fished with night crawlers. I have caught a few crappie on redworms and bluegill fishing, but
I mean, that would happen, but I've never intentionally targeted crappie using night crawlers.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm going to test it again and see if they keep it up.
And you know, that may be a thing, whatever lake you were on, that may be like something what they're eating in that lake. 'Cause lakes have I believe they have their own personality and the fish do different things in
Well,
different
and
ways.
I always fish lemon, and it definitely, I mean, it's a shallow lake, so it certainly has its own personality.
Yeah.
But the hard thing about fishing the same lake all the time is trying to get out of your comfort zone too.
Yeah.
I get so used to my spots that I don't explore as much as I should.
Well, and it'd be good for you as a fisherman to go fish other lakes. Just make yourself feel good.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to fish other lakes; it's that I don't want to travel to other lakes.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I got a lot of reasons for that, but a lot of them are very personal reasons that are medical and so forth. I don't want to go into with everybody. So
I understand.
I'm very comfortable on my home lake, so that's where I stay.
Yeah.
Although I grew up out by Lake Monroe, but since I got a dock here at Lemon, I'm not going to trailer my boat anywhere because it's just too easy to drive right up, get on my boat, and go.
There you go.
It's just too convenient to have to mess with going somewhere after that.
Yeah.
Although I certainly get enough invites. You know, I get people. I got a good friend that invites me out with him and his son all the time to different lakes. And I'm just like, man, the problem is I'm not an early morning person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to drive a couple hours to fish, that's just not something I do.
Well, this time of year, early mornings are good. I like it because it's not so hot.
Again, like I said, I'm not an early morning person. I have too much going on. I do love fishing evenings, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you give me a nice sunset and a fishing rod, I'm just about as happy as a person can get.
Oh, yeah. That's a good time to fish.
I mean, I take a mug of coffee out there with me, and I kick back, and it is lake therapy for me.
Gotcha.
So, but I'm gonna wrap this up. We've been going for an hour, and I'm glad you guys were able to get on here. I see you both on Facebook a lot. You're both good family men. I like that about you. I like seeing the pictures of when you get kids out and stuff. So keep that up, and we'll keep in touch.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you having us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys being on here.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, you guys take it easy.
All right, you too.
All right. Hey, guys, everybody watching, tight lines, fair fishing. Have a great weekend.